In the previous lesson, we looked at levels as it related to an adjustment layer, and we looked at masks. Understand that relates to any adjustment that you do. Levels, curves, photo filter, doesn't matter. They all work and function the same way non-destructively. Let's create another levels adjustment. Let's talk a little bit more specifically about exactly what levels is and what it does. Let's go ahead and click right there and bring it out. What you are looking at right here is called a histogram. Now, a histogram is historical information on this image based on the brightness of the pixels. It's an X-ray. It's a fingerprint. No two images would ever have the same histogram. Now, it relates like this. Every one of the pixels in this image, and there are zillions of pixels in this image. This is a 12 megapixel image, so I guess it's not zillions, it's millions. But there's a lot of little tiny bricks that make up that wall. Each brick to the computer is simply a number. And one of the numbers is how bright the color is. And that number is from, as you can see right here, 0 to 255. So this is an Excel spreadsheet, bar chart, whatever you want to call it. Every one of those pixels has a number from 0 to 255. If the pixel's number is 0, it would be black. If it's 255, it would be pure white. Now, we're working in RGB. You can actually separate the channels. We'll talk about that in the next lesson. But while we're in RGB, you're kind of getting a sense of the brightness levels of the pixels and where they are. How many black going into the midtones, going into the lights. And it spikes out right here because of that. So you're looking at an image, and let's say this pixel right here that I'm pointing to, let's say that pixel is a 128. That would be a middle brightness pixel. That's exactly the middle between 0 and 255. What Photoshop does is it adds them all up and then gives me a bar of how many there are over here. So that, in a sense, is the fingerprint of the image. If we come to the sliders, we've got these three right up here. We can move the sliders in, and that will create a clip. Now, what are you doing when you move them in from the left and the right? You're saying to the computer, "Computer, I want you to throw away everything from this point that way and everything from this point that way and stretch what's left out to the dynamic range of 0 to 255. So you're changing literally the dynamic range of the image when you do that. When you move the middle slider, what you're doing is basically telling the computer to change the lightness and darkness of the image, but be more aggressive toward the center, kind of like a bell curve, where it gets really aggressive in the middle and tapers out as it goes on the sides. So moving that one, in a sense, gives us a visual lighter or darker image without changing where the actual black and white areas are. That's how it kind of all works together. But what I really want to know here is I really want to know where I'm losing information. I mean, I know I'm losing it if I move that in, but where exactly in the image is it going black or going white? Now, if you come up to this option here and click it, one of the things you have is show clipping for black and white points. If I turn that on and come over here again and begin moving, watch what happens. Okay, those areas that are going black are being blown out completely. When I let go, they are now pure black. We can do it the same way on this side. That gives me an idea of how much information I'm losing to achieve whatever goal I'm trying to make here. But I don't like to do that and then unselect it and then go back and forth and back and forth. So let's do this. Come back up here and turn that off. Just click it again. While I'm moving this item right here, I want to see where the clip is. But I want to keep moving it and occasionally see the clip. While you've got it selected, still selected, hold down the Alt key. Holding down the Alt key allows you to see the clip. You let go of the Alt key, you're still in business. To me, that's a better way to do it. So the purpose of levels is to increase or stretch the dynamic range of an image. And what you'll see in the next lesson is how that can be used to help build contrast in an image. On to the next.